Welcome back, my delinquents. We have a case today, and it comes from the VTubing / art community, as a lot of VTubers and artists has weighed in on this, because a VTuber by the name Hysteria, ironic name, made a long-winded post about the fact of VTuber modelers have the business wrong, and they're weighing in with their wisdom about how to make more money by lowering their prices, and they go into math and how lowering their prices will actually help them in the long run. And a lot of VTubers, artists, and bigger streamers kind of weigh in on this about the differences, because I don't think it's malicious on Hysteria's part. It just comes from a place of ignorance of the differences in business, specifically commission work versus products, because that mindset can work with products, because products you just order more. It doesn't really take more time. You put that out to a middleman. But with commission work, you have a finite amount of time. And a lot of people debate this with them, and they don't seem to pick up on it straight away. But I do feel so far that they are getting bullied quite a bit just for being ignorant in this field. But that you can judge for yourself if their tone sets them off in a bad direction here, because they do come off a little bit condescending. But I am not sure if that justifies the response. But let's get into this, because I just think it's a very interesting topic, and a lot of these VTubers lay down some really good information about the business side and art side of VTubing. Let's get into it. So we're in the case room, guys, and this is the post that kind of sets off this catalyst debate and a little bit of bullying, I'm not going to lie to you. And it has around 300 bookmarks, 1,400 requotes, 1.4 million views, and only 185 likes, so you can kind of get a vague idea of how deeply unpopular this was. And 18 comments, but Hysteria has turned off these comments because it was getting rowdy. It was indeed getting rowdy. So let's read through this, and you can tell me what you think in the comments below on this part, particularly on, do you think their tone didn't help, or do you think this information is just kind of in bad faith, as it pretty much only views business as numbers, and as we know, that's not the only factors you have to take into when you're thinking about profits and what's actually plausibly capable with your business. Okay, from Hysteria, can I be the one to say it? I'm gonna say it. VTuber artists, modelers, riggers, etc. If your stuff was cheaper, you'd make more money. Here's an example. Let's say there's an art at about $140. And let's say about 1,000 people could afford that comfortably. That's like $140K. Yes, the math is on the side there that technically if you could sell the model for 1,000, you would make that much money. But that's only if you could sell, let's say, a model 1,000 times, which would be a non-unique model. Those numbers aren't plausible for a custom commission. Now, I know there's a cost of labor, but hear me out. If the same item was like $90, that opens up more market availability. So now 1,000 people turns into, like, let's say 1,800. So 90 times 1,800, that's 162K. Now let's go further. Let's say an art is like $50. A lot of people can afford $50. So let's triple 1,800 to 5,400 equals 50 equals 270K. Yes, there would be more work, but there's more reward. And if the quality of the item is still really high, a lot of people are gonna want that thing, which is more people, which in turn is more money. And if people are happy, the customer base increases, which again is more people, which again is more money. Not that I expect any change in pricing of things, I just want to throw that out there. And this is the problem with this. Most artwork is custom, and it takes anywhere from, I would say, 3 hours to 3 days to make an illustration. And usually on average, the art on a VTuber model takes a month, and the rigging takes a month. So let's say you do both. You're the rigger and the artist. You can realistically only take 6 models on a year, because that's all you can complete in that time. The idea of taking on 1,000 models is completely unrealistic. Even 1,000 illustrations is unrealistic, because even to do 365 illustrations a day, you have to finish 1 illustration a day. So to do 1,000 of that, you would have to finish, let's say, 4 to 5 illustrations a day to make that quota, which is quite a lot. It's probably going to be closer to 5 or 6. And you have to do that every day, no days off, to hit your 1,000 quota. That's a lot of work. That's pretty insane. I do want to preface, in case people miss it, I'm not a business major. I just push buttons on a calculator. So I want people to have things and be as prosperous on both sides. I also think a lot. That is the thing why mathematicians aren't automatically the best at business, because there's just outside factors you have to take in consideration when you're working out your math. Like, math is great, but there is a lot of other parts of business you have to think about, because this can be applied to selling products. But even then, there's only so many products, and how often will people repurchase those products, the groups that get those products, how you send out those products. But it works better in that sense. But again, the less unique an item, the less people pay for it. And this is why this logic can also work with digital products, but value goes down sharply when you sell it to multiple people. So it goes from $90 to probably $6. Like, a custom emote is $50, let's say. But a emote that isn't custom and is not unique and sold to multiple people is worth $3. So you then have to go from selling 1,000 to, ideally you need to sell like 5,000 to get the same amount of money they're talking about. And unless you're very lucky, you're not going to get that. If you work 24 hours a day instead of 8 hours a day, you make more money. Ooh. And this is what people are saying. It's the idea that there just isn't enough hours in the day, realistically. And there's already a lot of pressure on freelancers to work 7 days a week and to just work unreasonable hours to get the job done. As we saw at the beginning of the year, there was a streamer / VTuber getting up their artists because they took Sundays off and holidays off, like Christmas. And they were saying, well, I work 7 days a week, why can't you? It's the idea, just because you're freelance and you don't have a full-time, like, go into the office work, you should work twice as hard as the average person, is kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I didn't think about that part, but multiple people could oversee things, no. But yeah, I did forget about some pretty important details. Yes, and that's what you think. Say, if you go from one person to hiring 2 more people, you're not a freelancer, you're becoming a studio. And again, you have to pay those people. So that's not profit anymore. That's gross. So that goes from, I made $140,000 a year. Okay, I got 2 full-time employees. I made 20. $20,000, because when you put the work onto other people, you lose money. That's just how it works, because they need to be paid too. They don't come out of nowhere. So and it also makes your job more complicated, because now you're not just running your small commission on the side, you're running a studio, you're running a business, and that's something also you have to take in consideration. From Bay, disclosure first, then when I say it is not addressed to you, but to those who may think a certain way. Actually, many of us are extremely burnt out to stop clientele onslaughts. We raise our prices. And then we're picky with who we accept, sadly. This is very common, and they do it for multiple reasons. 1, a lot of artists have personal projects and other work they do than just commissions. 2, raise price more, you do less commissions, but you can put more effort into them, and you don't have to do as many, and you make the money to survive of it. But also your job, it's part recognition of your name, and it's part of quality, as in you guaranteeing quality in the art style. It also opens up for smaller creators and new artists to get into those cheaper areas to start their businesses too. Because it would be difficult if the best artist in the world was charging $50, and so was your little indie artist who just been commissioning for 6 months was also selling for $50. So it's just a natural thing as you age and get better at your craft and guarantee results that you charge more, just like in every job. It's the same thing. In every job, you're worth more because your experience, your time, your output, and you guarantee results. Every job, you get paid more for doing that. You're completely right. On top of my not considering work time and workload, this does help me understand better why things are so pricey in our luxury areas. That's also too, art is a luxury product, and it's used for a lot of commercial work, so it tends to be up there price-wise. I knew precious little about the work our peeps do, and I think we should be more educated that way. Yes, and that's why I think them saying, let me be the one to say it comes off like they're implying they know a lot about this, but obviously they don't know tons about this area, and I think their wording just pushed people in the wrong direction. But honestly, I feel like this is Twitter in general. Everyone words things very antagonistically. I don't even know if they do it on purpose, but it seems to cause half these dramas. Artists don't have unlimited time, they can only accept so many commissions. Say an artist can accept 10 commissions and be able to complete them. If they can charge 200 and have enough demand to fill the slots, why would they charge 100? Exactly. This comes from Carly, the ISL VTuber. I think I'm thinking too far into long-term instead of short-term, and I'm not accounting for workload exhaustion. I'm glad I'm getting educated though. But that's not just workload exhaustion, it's just practicality. If you were offered a $200 paycheck, would you say, no, give me $100 for the same work? No. You can fill the slots, you're in demand enough. And art and a lot of creative fields are in demand fields, as in you get paid as much as it is in demand. Okay, so I have a few of some prominent VTubers and artists that I saved to go over and say their opinion on this. Art Gun being the first one up here. It's actually more effective to work less and charge more, getting your hourly average up. Pushing buttons are calculated easy, but remember 1,000 products a year means you need to produce at least 3 commissions a day, including communication and marketing to fill slots. Exactly, because they don't realize most artists don't have a team, so they have to do it all themselves. See, this 1,000 products a day can make sense if you're selling merch, items, products, or getting things made, but commissions not so much. That's some valuable advice from the Art Gun. We got Mitchie here with their comment on it. 1,000 models. How long do you think that would take to do 1,000 of them? I'm going to be honest, I think you would pass away before you finish them. We got Bun here. I used to charge 20 USD for a fully rendered art, and I was tired. I did get many comms, yes, but I also overworked and had to draw 10 plus hours every day to finish those comms. I also didn't get to save up because the money isn't enough. Artists increase your prices. That is a thing too, is like the more overloaded an artist is with commissions that they realistically can't handle, it's more likely they're going to burn out and drop the ball on these commissions. It's not good for you either, because it increases the risk your commissions aren't going to get done. The work is not going to come in on time, etc. This is from Slum Baby, a VTuber artist rigger, but I know them from their art and their VTuber models. They're very well known for that stuff. I know they already know that they didn't factor in work time, but I want to make it clear the prices they suggested do not cover even half the work time for most people. Please consider how your artists and riggers are working before suggesting a lower price. Yes, I would say, honestly, unless they say they're open to haggling, artwork is not a place to haggle. You check the price, and if it's too expensive for you, don't contact them. That end. It's not a haggling space. And also, usually time and demand is taken into consideration with these things. And it's up to them, because it's a luxury good, if they take on the work and how much they charge for that work. Yeah, sometimes it could be ridiculous, sometimes it could be really low, but it's up to you if you wish to pay those prices. And I feel like they all make some really good points here on it. Same with a lot of the comments. And I do think, honestly, like, Hysteria took the feedback well. Like, a lot of people were getting a bit mean in these comments, but I feel like, other than the way she worded it to begin with, she took it very well, the feedback, and realized she didn't understand the market or how art commissions really work, or freelance, and they took the information on pretty well. And I think it turned out better than it could have, because it did end up in a conversation about what's realistic when it comes to art and VTubing. I feel like there's a good lesson in here about, if you don't know enough about a topic, don't come off too cocky or Twitter's gonna punch you in the face, unfortunately. But what do you think, my delinquents? Do you think at the very least we got a good bit of information here, some feedback, and some pearls of wisdom from artists and VTubers? Do you think the person just accidentally antagonized people, or do you think it was on purpose? What do you think of this situation? Honestly, I think at the very least it kicked off a good conversation for this kind of stuff, but I feel like at least once or twice a year there seems to be a controversy of someone saying VTuber artists or VTuber riggers charge way too much, not realizing what goes into making one. And that's why I would say, if you're a VTuber fan, well, more a VTuber, or even fans can find value in this information, look up a bit about how they're made. Get educated. Don't just assume it's worthless or worth less than you're willing to pay. Actually look up the hard work that goes into these products. It's worth it. But don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell, check out the Patreon, all that fun stuff, and my other channels that I use my stuff for. Yay! I had fun reading up on this topic and seeing everyone's applies to it. It was pretty informative, and I love the passion that goes along with it. And I'll catch you next time, my delinquent.
In a world of neon lights, till the bunny shines so bright, clumsy hot flood holds her crown, busting sassy folks she's found. up in sight. With a smile she takes the fight. Bumps and falls won't break her stride. Sharing hearts she won't hide.